Hi, it's Jason from Feature Radiators. Today we're going to look at how to choose valves for your radiator so you can work out which works best for you. So, why are radiator valves required at all? Well, you can think of a valve like a tap. The only way that a radiator will heat up is if you get water into it. So the more that you open the valve, the more water that goes into the radiator and the hotter it'll get. So they give you, the user, a way to control the radiator and an installer a way to make sure that the system is set up correctly. Each radiator will normally have its own set of valves so it can be turned on and off independently of other radiators on the system. There are two parts to each valve set. Firstly, that's a control part that you, the user, would alter. So you'd either open it to increase the temperature or close it more to reduce the temperature. Secondly, there's the lock shield part that the installer would set to make sure that the system is set up, working and balanced correctly and you, the user, would not touch. There are two types of valves. You've got thermostatic valves and manual valves. I'm going to talk about both so you can understand the difference. I'm going to start with thermostatic valves first of all. So as you can see, thermostatic valves come in both traditional and modern finishes. You're probably used to seeing the more modern type with the numbers around them. The traditional ones have lines instead of numbers. So basically, the more lines you've got, the hotter the temperature. So what you do is you set your valve to a particular number or line that would correspond to a desired room temperature shown in the instructions. So when the room gets up to temperature, the valve will turn the radiator off automatically and back on again when the room cools down. So they're more environmentally friendly than manual valves because they are automatic, and they also make use of any free heat that the room might receive, such as that from the sun or any electrical appliances. So we're now going to take a look at manual valves. So as you can see, manual valves also come in traditional and modern finishes, and they work pretty much like taps, so on or off. They're more compact than thermostatic valves, but they're not more automatic because you, the user, would need to go to the valve to turn the radiator down or off. So the devil's in the detail. So if we look at the radiators on this wall that don't have any pipework to them because they're not plumbed in, we can see that you've got some really nice valves to complement the look of the radiator. So we've got the black valves on the black radiator, we've got the black nickel that goes really well on the anthracite, and we've got some lovely brushed nickel valves to complement the brushed steel. As you can see from our showroom display radiators that don't have any pipework to them, we've really thought about the valves that complement the look of the radiators. So we've got some really nice chrome manual valves for this chrome radiator. We've got some chrome corner valves for pipes from the wall that really look good on this one. Some white valves to complement the white on the radiator. And we've got some straight chrome valves that really work well with this radiator as well. On the traditional valves, we've got some black nickel valves which work really well with this burnish finish, and some brushed nickel valves which really pick up the highlights on this radiator. The devil's in the detail. So having purchased your radiator from Feature Radiators, the last thing you want to do is to spoil the look of it with an ugly valve. Look at how this valve really detracts from the look of the beautiful polished cast iron radiator. Now look at the difference that this valve makes in brushed nickel, which really complements the look of the radiator. So hopefully you now understand the different types of valves. You'll also need to decide on whether you need angled, straight or corner valves, and that will also depend on where your pipework comes from. So you can either call us and we'll work out which works best for you, or you can watch my next video on valve orientation.